What we know is that when the brain is in a positive state, it thinks more clearly, it thinks more creatively, and it problem solves better. We get to choose and control our mindset because we get to choose and control our thoughts. Some of the biggest challenges that we need to tackle around the boardroom table will get solved at a more rapid rate if our brains are in the right state to do so. If we want goodness and greatness and being a force for good in this world, we have got to, one, have a very clear vision and be so convicted in it that we are willing to fight and build. Goodness, strength is forged in really challenging times. And as leaders, it's critical that we navigate ourselves and others in our organizations through that adversity in the belief of the vision that we have. As we start to change how we think about the role of leadership in our organizations, in our families, in our worlds, all of a sudden we really do set ourselves up to make business a force for good in the world. Who controls your thoughts? You do. You control your thoughts, you control your thoughts, you control your thoughts, I control my thoughts. At the end of the day, the number one driver that impacts how we show up moment by moment is not in anybody else's control, it's in ours. And when we learn to choose right thoughts at the right time to generate right emotional states, to get our body in the right place, it increases our probability of being who we want to be in a moment and delivering what we want to deliver in that moment. When do we need positive thinking? All the time, but especially when it's hard. Thinking right is not something soft and fluffy. It is a performance-enhancing strategy. And so what we're about to show you is how powerful our thoughts actually are. That's baseball, that's business, that's life. But it all comes down to how we think. I want you to quiet your mind, narrow your focus, and I just want you to think in your mind, move side to side. Now I want you to think forward and backwards, without moving your hand, without touching the washer. Good, now bring it to a complete stop, just using your mind. The guy at the end's like, well, good, I got that one nailed. So some of you are like, that's fake. Some of you are like, oh my God, it was moving. This is something that we call psychoneuromuscular theory. Every time we have a thought, the brain sends an electrical signal from our brain through our neurons into our muscles to execute an action. So when they were thinking, move side to side, that electrical signal gets sent to the minor tips of your finger, that vibration gets picked up in the string, and because of physics, we can see the movement in the washer. So what we have to understand as individuals is that every thought we have matters because it's sending an electrical signal through our body to do something. And so as we think about, building high-performing organizations, we have to understand that we have to start thinking right about how to actually do that.
My philosophy of high-performing organizations is they have to be top-down, bottom-up, and contextually relevant. What are the systems and structures and processes and accountability measures and vision, mission, core values stuff do we have in place from the top down? And then how do we teach people inside of that system how to think right?
Thoughts actually change the form and function of our brain. What you see on the screen right now are two brain scans, where the brain on the left is a brain that's highly stressed or depressed, and the brain on the right is a brain in optimal functioning. These brain scans are literally generated by what we think about. We lift weights, our muscles get bigger. We repeat thoughts, our brain actually starts to change. We have mindsets about everything, but a mindset is an actual protein pattern that gets wired into your brain and changes the form and function of how your brain operates. These are actual brain neurons, and they're getting activated through thoughts. you're gonna see a black dot shoot across the screen in the bottom right. That's that electrical signal that we talked about. And what we know is what fires together wires together. So now these brain neurons are starting to connect, and then it starts to get thicker and again form a mindset in your brain. You gotta be aware of your thoughts. Humans have about 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day. How do we think about what's happening in our world right now, in our business right now? And can we choose to build a mindset that is gonna allow us to take a 90-yard drive into the end zone? Be intentional about finding specific things that you can take back and implement, top down, bottom up, and culturally relevant. And when we do, the rate of transformation just happens because this is how human beings are created and wired to show up and deliver their best. So have an amazing conference, and let's continue to be a force for good together.